everyone. Welcome to Holistic Edu-Consult. My name is Olubumi Mercy Odiaka. Holistic Edu-Consult, as I tell you all the time, is a place where we'll bring to you holistic education. Education that talks about the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. Not just the formal education, but as also the informal education. You know, education is both formal and informal. If you don't know, I hope you know that now. It's both formal and informal. So here we bring to the fore, holistic education. Yes, if you're joining us for the first time today, so I think there should be a bell for me to tell you now. Welcome on board. Welcome to where you're going to learn every step of the way. Every minute with us, you are learning something, gaining something that is applicable to life. Today, we have a life strategist as our guest. Yes, he's a life strategist. He wrote out a quote that I loved, and I wanted him to explain it to us here, what he meant by that quote. I heard it from him first. He said, life is like a football game. Life is like a football game. The rules are simple. The reward is high. But the penalties are brutal. Did you hear that? Life is like a football game. Life is like the game of football. The rules are simple. The reward is high. But the penalties are brutal. Yes, I want to understand what the penalties of life and of football could mean. What are the corners? What are the throw-in? What are the free kicks? I want to know all that too. And I'm sure you're curious as well to know. So let me introduce our guest to you for today. His name is Femi Luther Abegunde. We call him the Flame. The Flame because the Flame means Femi Luther Abegunde Mentorship and Coaching Experience. Yes, every time you sit with him or you listen to him, it's always an experience. He's a life strategist, he's a peak performance coach, and that means he helps individuals and organizations transit from where they are to where they want to be, whilst bridging the gap between their potential and their performance. I'm sure you're ready for an experience today, just like his name implies, the experience. Femi Luther Abegunde Mentorship and Coaching Experience. So I'm going to leave the floor for Femi Luther Abegunde to explain to us what he meant by life as a football game. I'm sorry I'm not putting on a jersey, but do I look sporty? Yes, I'm sporty. Come on. Don't worry. Probably I'll raise the ball for you another time. I'm not prepared for that now. I need to practice, you know. FLA, I think he's already in his jersey. He's in his jersey. Yeah, he's in his jersey. So he's wearing a jersey, so learn the game of football from him. FLA, you're welcome to Holistic Edu-Consult one more time.
All right, thank you so much for the magnanimous introduction. I don't take it for granted, and also thank you for having me on this call to share my thoughts on life as a football game. And I really also want to appreciate you for the great work you're doing with Holistic Edu-Consult. I see the great work you're doing, and I know of a surety that the sky is not your limit. As a matter of fact, it's your starting point, because the contributions you're making into our society is phenomenal, and you are actually creating a safety nest for our future whilst building a springboard for a better nation. So I salute you, ma'am, for the great work you're doing. Now let's talk about the title, Life as a Football Game. I believe strongly that quotation comes from a statement, a quote, that actually says that life is like a game of football. The rules are simple. The rewards are high, but the penalties are actually brutal. And I can tell you for free that has been one of my greatest quotes that I live by, and I pattern my life after, because I used to play football when I was in high school, and I played for the school even to the point of local government and competitions. But I've stopped playing football anyway. So when I was playing football, I learned a lot about life, seeing the way things were done, seeing the way things were patterned um, after some principles and rules. The spectators of football may not know all the rules, all the principles that go behind the game of football. But those who play football professionally, even in the amateur level, understand some rudiments and some principles that actually make football football, which is one of the key things why I strongly believe that life is like a game of football. There's a lot of similarities in football and also in life. So let's start first from the similarities. I would say that there are two, let's say three, major similarities between life and also football. The first one actually states that every football team has a pattern of play. Every football team has a pattern of play. For example, the Brazilian soccer is called samba football, and samba football has a pattern of play. The English have a pattern of play. African football has a pattern of play. Every football team has a pattern of play. Chelsea, which is my club, has a pattern of playing. Barca has a pattern of playing. Man U has a pattern of playing. Now, that is why anytime they bring in a manager or a coach that doesn't know their pattern of play, there's always dispute, there's always a bit of problem because patterns are created over time. And when patterns are created over time, it becomes a mode at which you do what you do, and which is one of the key things also about life. Every human being live life after a pattern. The pattern could have been given to you, or you got into the pattern from your parents. It could be from your education. It could be from your exposure. But we also live life after a pattern. And the funniest issue about pattern is not tangible. You don't say this is my pattern until you start living it. So football is played after a pattern. Life is also lived after a pattern. Now, the only way you can change your game in football is to look at your pattern and remove it. The same way, the only way you can change your life is to look at your pattern and also remove it. Now, what are patterns in life? Our patterns in life hails from our beliefs. It hails from our values. It hails from our exposure. It hails from our upbringing. It hails from what we saw being modeled as right, wrong, pursuit, success, and failure. When we get exposed to things like this, we tend to build our life after those patterns. So, as a little child born into a rich home, he or she will believe that that is the way life is. He or she will believe some certain principles that are being taught to him or her, and is definitely going to live the life that way. If you are a star player, you join, for example, Juventus to play with Juventus, there is a pattern of play which you have to bring your skill under. So that also tells us, according to pattern, that skill, talent actually go beneath patterns. They go beneath patterns. Patterns are predictable sequence. There's predictable sequence of things. So we live life based on patterns. Where you're born, how you grow up, create patterns for you. Now, if the result you're seeing in your life is not the kind of result you want to see, then you must disrupt your pattern. That is why in a football game also, when they see, for example, a football club or a football team has been playing for years and the pattern they're accustomed to is not generating results, then they bring somebody in who scatters the pattern and remove pattern again. Pattern is one of the key ways in which we live our life. And it's the same thing with football. Same thing with football. So that's one of the similarities between life and football. The second similarity between life and football is that football is governed by rules, is governed by laws, is governed by principles. The same way, life is governed by principle and also by laws. Football is played according to the rule. number one in football, it is a football, not an handball. So football is played with the feet. So if football is played with the feet, is rule number one. If the ball touches your hands, the game is stopped because it's against the rule. You cannot say you scored a goal by carrying the ball with your hands to proceed to the other goalpost and drop the ball. You cannot say so. Even if the ball touches the net with your hand, except it is Maradona's goal, which we all are familiar with, it's called a foul. So when you do not play according to the rules, definitely it is called a foul. So football is played according to the rules. The same way life is lived according to rules. Life on earth is governed by laws. Life on earth, I'm going to say that again, is governed by laws. Until you function according to these laws, you cannot have the result you've always wanted to have. Which is why those who get well in life, those who have maximum results in life, always check for the rules, the laws of life, and the pattern their life after laws. If your life is patterned after what is inconsistent, then your results in life will be inconsistent. And the funniest issue about laws actually is that laws are consistent. They are consistent. That is why they are called laws. In football today, you cannot wake up tomorrow and say, for going forward, football will no longer be played with the leg. It will be played with the hand. We've gone to handball because the laws are consistent. So let me just share about 8 things about laws generally to buttress what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to be just opposing them with football. Number one is that the law is not emotional. The law is not emotional. I've never seen the game of football when the referee just look at the team that is losing and say these guys are crying. And because they're crying, you know what? Oh yeah, I'm giving you 1 goal. It's not going to be possible. No. You must play according to the rule and score your goal. If you don't play according to the rule, if you don't score your goal, you have still not won. So the game of football is not the laws of the game of football is not emotional. And the same way the laws of life are not emotional. The law of, for example, the law of electricity will not say that child is the only child of his parent. Because of that, the child puts his hand in an exposed electricity socket. And the law of electricity will say because the only child, don't kill that child. The child is going to be electrocuted. It's the same with the law of football. Laws are not emotional. We live in a part of a world where we are very emotional about what we do, what we think, and how we act. I would think that being emotional means that the laws of life will change what we're doing. It's not going to change it. Laws are laws. They are not emotional. As a matter of fact, laws don't cry. Laws don't cry. That is why if you want to look at the symbol of law in almost every nation, is a blind woman carrying a scale and a sword. It simply tells you, I'm not seeing you cry because I'm blindfolded. I'm blindfolded. I have a scale, we're going to weigh you according to that great scale. If you fall flat according to the scale, the sword will be actually stretched towards you. If you fall according to the scale, on the right side of the scale, the sword is going to be stayed. That is the law. Laws are not emotional. Laws are laws. They're facts. They're facts. They're principles. That is one of the key things is you cannot go far in life by being emotional. No, you have to be rational. You have to play by the rules. Football is played by the rules. Life is played by the rules. When you live life by the rules, you get the high rewards. When you don't live life by the rules, the penalties are brutal. They are brutal. Number 2 is that law does not spare ignorance. Law doesn't spare ignorance. In a game of football, you cannot score your own. You cannot play the ball to your own goal post and it hits the net, and you tell the referee and say, "Sorry, I did not know." And the referee says, "Okay, because you did not know, we're changing the game." No, sir. No, man. No. The law doesn't spare ignorance. That is why ignorance is a vice. Ignorance is a disease. Ignorance is cancerous. Anywhere you tolerate ignorance in your life, you will live below your expectations. So the law doesn't spare ignorance. Number 3 fact about law is that law has universal application. If you play football in Brazil, if you play football in Dubai, if you play football in Nigeria, if you play football in Saudi Arabia, if you play football in India, the laws are the same. That means laws have universal application. The laws of life also has universal application. That is why a lizard in Nigeria can never become a crocodile in America, no matter how much you feed it. It may increase in size, but it's still going to be the same lizard. Laws have universal application. The laws of football have universal application. The laws of life have universal application. Anywhere the law is applied, the expected result shows up. Number four fact about law is that laws are unforgiving. Laws are unforgiving. They don't spare us. They don't spare us. Laws are unforgiving. Let me tell you the number six fact about law. I know I'm racing against time now. Number six fact against number five. Sorry. Number five fact about law actually is that law doesn't keep historical records. The same way with the game of football. Because you won the World Cup last year does not mean you're going to win the World Cup this year. As a matter of fact, you may be out of you may be out at the first round. So laws doesn't keep historical record. Laws doesn't say because you've always been doing something that is good, now that you've done something wrong, I'm going to spare you. Laws don't spare you because they don't keep historical record. The law of football doesn't keep historical record to your advantage. The law of life also doesn't keep historical record to your advantage. That is why I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say it 2 times. You are as good as your last performance. You are as good as your last performance. You cannot be better than your last performance. That is why stop living life based on old glory. Stop living life based on how you think things were before. Because that's the way things were before, that's where it's going to be now. It's not going to work, sir. It's not going to work, man. Stop living life based on past glory. It's not going to work. Number 6 fact, I think I'm going to stop on this one. Number 6 fact about laws is that laws are practical and they need application. Laws are practical and they need application. In a game of football, no matter how much you write on paper, this is what we're going to do, that's how we're going to play, you have to play the play. You have to play the play. So putting things on paper doesn't mean that you're going to have results. It must be applied. It must be practicalized. Life is not based on theory. Theory never makes you succeed in life. What makes you succeed in life is the practical application of life itself. So there must be practical application. If there's no practical application, there can never be results. So it must be practicalized. The same way your life must be lived in practical. Your life must be practicalized. If your life is not practicalized, you cannot have results. You cannot have results. The game of football is practical. The game of life is practical. Being practical is the only way you can achieve results in life. So those are the facts about life. Now, I would like to share with you shortly, because time is not on my side. I want to share with you about three major laws of life. 3 major laws of life. All right, so let's talk about the laws. There are several laws that govern life, and it also has application with the game of football. But on this call, I'm just going to share with us 3. Time will take. Allow me just take 3 of those laws. The first one I'm going to share with us actually is the laws of life. Is a law of time. The law of time. Everything in this world actually responds to time. And it's the same way in the game of football. Everything in the game of football also is time-based. Everything in the game of football is time-based. One of the preachers once said that there is a time for everything, and everything on earth has a specific time. That is the same I'm going to tell you that time itself is a manufacturer of life results. Every result we have in life is based on time. Someone once told me that the distance between here and there is T, and T is time. The game of football also is based on time. We play 45 minutes, and there's an half time. So that tells us if you really want to win in the game of football, you must understand time. You must understand the practicalities of first half. You must understand the practicalities of second half. When you understand the practicalities of first and second half and the usefulness of half time, boom, we're going to win in the game of football. And in the game of football, the first half is always based on skill, while the second half is always based on stamina. That is why you may have scored all your goals in the first half. If there's no stamina to keep your goal or go for more, you will lose in the second half. And it's the same principle with life. The first half of our life is based on knowledge seeking, acquisition of skill. The last part of our life, the second half of our life, is always based on stamina. Because if you cannot withstand the pressures of life after you've acquired all the skills that you want to acquire, you may not win in life. So life is actually life responds to the game of time, to the law of time. Sorry, there's a particular law. It's in a good book that actually says that as long as the earth remaineth, seed, winter, and summer and winter, time, harvest and planting and harvest will never, it will never cease. As long as the earth remaineth, seed, time, harvest, cold, heat, summer, winter, day, night will never cease. That's a law of life, and same with the law of football. There's always a first half, and there's always a second half. So that's the first principle you must understand. The first law of life is the law of time. The second law that I would like to share with you because of time is actually the law of greatness. The law of greatness. Should I share the law of greatness with you now? Okay, let's start with the law of greatness. Now, what's the law of greatness? The law of greatness is simple, but it's very powerful. The law of greatness simply tells you that you can never make yourself great. Someone else has to make you great. And it's the same thing in football. See Ronaldo, Nelson, Messi, the two of them became great because they were made great. They were made great by the team they played for, by the coaches that they have. The law of greatness tells you other people have to make you great. Why do we say so? Your greatness is locked up in the greatness of another person. Your greatness only comes when you make other people great. So you cannot make yourself great. Only someone else can make you great. Until you unlock the dreams of others, your dreams cannot come to pass. It's the same thing with in the game of football. It's the same thing with the game of football. Let me end with just one more law because I'm racing against time. The other law of life I'm going to share with you, which also has an application on the game of football, is the law of Andrew. What is the law of Andrew? The law of Andrew in the business world is called the law of 6 degrees of separation, which says that you are 6 people away from any human being you want to meet on earth. That's our law. You are 6 people away from anybody, 6 people away from anybody you want to meet in life. And it's the same application in football. The players that play for a club came into the club because the coach met somebody that knows somebody. Your greatness, actually, your ability to succeed in life is found in the people you know and those who know you. And anyone you want to meet in life, you're 6 people away from it. This time of failure to prove it to you, but it has been proven by research that you are 6 people away from meeting Bill Gates. What makes a difference really is how do you find these 6 people? So I admonish people, build your network before you need it. Build your network before you need it. I would love to share more about these laws because I actually have them, 48 laws. I will be sharing them in my forthcoming book. I don't know when it's coming out yet, so don't put pressure on me. In my forthcoming book, it's called The Universal Laws. I'm going to be sharing that in my forthcoming book. It's nice sharing these thoughts with you on life as a football game. Thank you.
Wow. I'm clapping here, FLA. Amazing session. Amazing. Thank you so much, Coach FLA, for coming on board, to explain to us life as a football game. My note is full. Thank you very much. We appreciate your honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I'm super excited for being on this call.
All right. So now all we have to say is bye-bye. Respect,
Love to the
sir.
family.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for now.
All right, sir. Thank you. All right. Holistic Edu-Consult. Here we are. You have heard from Coach FLA explain to you the quote, life as a football game. Life as a football game. He explained to us the similarities between life and football. He talked to us about the rules of law, and he also explained the laws of life. If you missed any of that, please just go back to the beginning of the session and get all your nuggets, write them down. Make sure everything you write down, you put to use. Remember, I say it all the time, that it is not just about learning. It is also about putting all you learn to use. That is when wisdom comes in. Application of knowledge. Application of knowledge. All right. Holistic Edu-Consult is going to be a year old in 6 days' time. So in 6 days' time, precisely on the 13th of August 2021, Holistic Edu-Consult is going to be a year old. Yeah! Is there a jingle? Let's do. I'm so sorry, don't mind me. All right. So Holistic Edu-Consult is going to be a year old in 6 days' time. And because of that, because we like to give back to you, our loyal audience, and even those that are not loyal, we don't mind. We just want to give back to the society. So we have put up a training for teachers. This is our summer. So we want teachers to be well equipped for the next session resuming in September. So that is why we decided to put up this training for you. Teachers in intensive summer training, where we have lots of courses like phonics, phonetics, emotional intelligence, child psychology, maths clinic, understanding and management of learning disabilities. These are things that teachers should understand. So if you want to be a part of this, send us a DM, reach us via the number on the flyer, or email us at holisticeduconsult@gmail.com. We'll be there to answer you. And if you have any other thing to say and you can't reach us via all those platforms that I have mentioned, just send us a message in the comment section here. We will definitely be there to answer you. Thank you so much for your time. Yes, life as a football game. As a teacher, you must know the rule of life. You must apply the rule of life to all your endeavor. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, here we say, to learn is to grow, and growth is inevitable. But I don't end it there anymore. Now I say, to learn is to grow, growth is inevitable, and applied learning actually brings growth. Bye for now.